Hello and welcome back to my channel. I am Christy VANN with Fantastic Finances, and on this channel I teach velocity banking. So today I wanted to review the amortization schedule. I have been talking about it in several videos. I wanted to do a rundown of what an amortization schedule looks like and what it actually does pertaining to your monthly payments. So I'm showing here what the interest and the principal is in the current payment, which is $2,046.53 per month due. So this is their regular monthly payment. $1,812.50 of that is interest only, and then they get $234.03 actually applied to the home that they bought. Reminder, this is a $300,000 home with a 7.25% interest rate. So the breakdown that I'm going to do again is the $500 per month extra payment that's going to be added to this principal amount every month for the first 12 months. So the regular payment being $2,046.53 with the additional payment onto principal only brings the total payment per month at $2,546.53. Now if you look at the breakdown, you see that the regular interest is charged on the first payment. But when the $500 payment goes in on top of their regular payment in month 2, that interest applied is only $1,808.07. Did you hear me say only? That's hilarious, isn't it? This is how the banks are getting their money. This only $1,800 is going straight to them. It's not benefiting you at all. You're literally just paying them to allow you to use their money. So that means that between payment 1 and payment 2, you're going to have a decrease in the interest cost of $4.43. Month 2 to month 3, we go from $1,808.07 to $1,803.60. So that means that the interest reduced $4.47 into the third month. The fourth month, we can do the same thing, showing that there's a $4.48 decrease in the monthly interest charge. Now you keep going all the way down to month 12, where you're now paying $1,762.22 of interest only in your monthly payment. That means that you've decreased the interest charge $4.71. So every payment you make after that, the interest continues to decrease. If you go back to making regular payments, it's not going to decrease this fast. That's because you're not making the extra $500 a month. So in the previous video, I showed where that with the regular payments being made, you are decreasing your interest charge by $1.43 per month. But with the extra $500 going onto the principal every month for the first 12 months, you're reducing it by $4.43 in the first month. I hope that makes sense. So that means that you have an approximate interest amount saved of $54.84 over this whole 12-month period, making these $500 chunks per month. But let's step over here and look at the $6,000 chunk that I was talking about in the previous video. With the balance starting at $300,000 for the home that you bought, when you put $6,000 directly into that principal amount with your first payment, it's going to bring the balance down to $293,000. Now, I didn't include in here that you also made the regular monthly payment with this. So I didn't mention that this $293,000 does not include the actual monthly payment that was made along with this $6,000 chunk into the principal. So the total payment would have been $8,046.53. That's for 1 month in your first month. Then every month after, you're going to make regular payments. But what did this one chunk of $6,000 do to the amortization schedule? Well, just like I showed you here, when you put any amount onto the principal extra, you're reducing that balance. And when you do, the schedule jumps. So whatever the balance is, which in this case I'm showing $293,000, the amortization schedule is going to jump over the months and get to this balance owed, which means you're going to start paying interest in that month. Wow, that sounded confusing. It makes sense to me, but you might have to think about it for a minute. With that being said, you're going to skip the amortization schedule to April 2026. So what does that mean? Well, that means that while you're sitting over here making $500 payments, you're still paying this $1,700 plus interest charge every month. But when you do a chunk and you actually get to skip the schedule, it moves you up to whatever the balance is, which means this balance is going to be approximately $293,000 after one chunk that moves you to April 2026. That means that you got to skip 26 months of interest payments. I hope you can get that in your head. 26 months of interest. This interest right here that you're willingly paying, you get to skip it right here because you made the chunk up front. That is the difference between making additional monthly payments onto your principal rather than just doing a chunk. So this person will save $46,000 approximately in interest charges by the time they've paid off their house in full. Now, it knocked off over 2 years, so that means if it's a 30-year loan, it just went to 28 years with one $6,000 chunk. What would happen if they made $6,000 chunks every year? What if their cash flow allowed them to make a payment of $6,000 additionally to that principal every 6 months? Yeah, it's going to make a huge difference on the payoff date of your mortgage. It's just math. It's just an amortization schedule. Once you learn how to use the schedule, you're going to know how to pay off your home and avoid all of that interest that you're paying to the banks. So I hope this answers your question about which is more beneficial, making an additional principal amount every month or just doing the chunk initially. I think that we see it's an easy win when it comes to doing the chunk, and when we're using the bank's money to make that chunk, we're even doing better because this doesn't come out of our savings. This comes out of the bank's line of credit that we obtained. That's why I think everyone that has a mortgage should have a line of credit so you can do this right here, pay for your home and get out of that loan. I hope that this makes sense to you. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. Pull up your own amortization schedule on a Carl's Mortgage calculator. Run your own numbers. See how quickly you can jump through that schedule by adding a few extra chunks per year. Run your own amortization schedule. See how much time you too can save on your own mortgage by just making a chunk here and there. It doesn't have to be overwhelming. It just has to be done. I want to encourage you that there are faster ways to get out of debt than making additional payments every month. Not only does this not help much with the interest at all, it's also your cash flow that's been thrown into a loan that you cannot get back out and use again. The lines of credit, you can use them over and over and over again. They're revolving. So you put money in, you can pull money out for stuff like this right here. I hope this opened up a whole new world of excitement for you when it comes to your finances so that you understand that you too can get out of debt very quickly. And be encouraged and be excited to do so. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. I look at the YouTube comments every day. I appreciate your kind words, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.